Lee Galdo once referred to books as being a window or mirror. Chapter 4 of Children's Books in Children's Hands says, books that act like windows into experiences that are different from our own stretch that range of experiences we have had. Peacelocomotion by Jacqueline Woodson acts as a window for many of its readers. Peacelocomotion, the sequel to Locomotion, is about a 12-year-old boy, Lonnie Collins Motion, otherwise known as Locomotion, who lives with his foster mom, Miss Edna. In the story, he writes letters to his younger sister, Lily, who lives with a different foster mother after both of their parents die in a house fire. In the letters, he tells how much he misses their parents, how sixth grade is through the small and big parts and moments, how he looks forward to the day when he and Lily can live together again, and discusses other ideas, including the idea of peace and war and its consequences. Peacelocomotion is relatable to many students. African American students, especially males, will relate to his African American heritage. Students of any culture will relate to the main character since many of the settings and events occur at school and involve friendships. Students can discuss the book in a discussion group, but also might be inspired to write letters like how Lonnie does. Peacelocomotion includes many aspects of diversity. It is a culturally specific book about the African American culture. It reflects the culture through the language, interaction of characters, and the descriptions of situation and events. For example, the character's attitude, description of both Lonnie and Clyde's family, feelings of failure make it more real and more believable to its readers. Also, in one letter Lonnie wrote, he mentions his family's struggle of always getting by with just enough money. Since the author grew up in Brooklyn, New York, which is the same as the setting, and writes based on her own African American heritage, the book gives an authentic insider's perspective. The 5th grade teacher mentioned in Peacelocomotion was actually inspired by Jacqueline Woodson's own 5th grade teacher. The author's understanding of the culture is evident in her determination of her word and her choice of words in the book. For example, Lonnie uses be before another verb. In the book, he says, they be acting all crazy and having a real good time. Also, Lonnie calls his mother Mama and his foster mom by Miss Edna to show respect. The details are accurate, such as the places in Brooklyn and around New York, such as Prospect Park Zoo or Coney Island, or the sports teams even, like the Mets, mentioned, and the interpretation are current since the book was recently published. Jacqueline Woodson has won many multicultural literature awards, including the Coretta Scott King Award for Miracle Boys in 2001, and her Newbery Honor-winning titles, like Brown Girl Dreaming, After Tupac and Dee Foster, Feathers, and Show Way. Peacelocomotion does have a few sensitive issues or aspects of the book that requires careful attention. The topic it talks about are the African American culture, foster care, families of low socioeconomic status, the feelings and emotions of the separations of siblings, and families involved at war and its effects. While these topics may not be major, it allows readers to gain insight into them from the main character's first personal account and may require some additional questions or discussion about the topics. The content and length of the letters in Peacelocomotion make it appropriate for students in 4th grade and above. Tidal Wave has classified this book as an interest level for 5th to 8th grade, and its reading level as a 5th grade status. Booklist suggests that it's for students in grades 4 to 7. School Library Journal says it's intended for grades 4 through 6. Kirkus Reviews says it's for age 10 to 14. Publishers Weekly recommends it is for ages 9 to 12 years. As you can see, it has been reviewed and recommended by many popular book reviews and magazines and publishers. So, Peacelocomotion and Locomotion would be a great addition to any multicultural collection. Peace Locomotion is about a 12-year-old African-American boy named Lonnie Collins Motions, otherwise known as Locomotion, who lives in Brooklyn, New York with his foster mom, Miss Edna, and his foster brother, Rodney. It is the sequel to the book Locomotion. In Peace Locomotion, Lonnie writes letters to his younger sister, Lily, who lives with a different foster mother after both of their parents die in a house fire. Imagine being separated from your sister and not having your parents. That's got to be tough. In the letters, he tells how much he misses their parents. He shares many memories, such as how their mama loved rain, or how their family would go to the playground. He also shares about how he looks forward to the day when he and Lily can live together again. On the first page of the book, he mentions how there are only 9 more years until he will be old enough to take care of her by himself. It is definitely clear that Lonnie loves his sister and is very proud of her. He enjoys the moments that they spend together very much. He also struggles with how she calls her foster mom, Mama. On page 63 it says, "Mama," you finally said real soft. I called her Mama. I felt like something was breaking inside of me. I felt like I could hear her own true Mama looking down at us and biting her lip to keep tears from coming. "She's not your Mama, Lily," I whispered. I looked over to where Miss Edna and your foster Mama were. They were sitting in the waiting area, but they weren't sitting together. Miss Edna was reading a magazine, and your foster Mama was reading her Bible. Then Miss Edna leaned over and said something to your foster Mama, and she nodded and said something back. Real soft you told me you knew that. The room was hot. The agency had the heat going, and the windows had steam on them. Somewhere I could even hear some steam coming out of a radiator. I looked around for the sound, but couldn't find it. I couldn't look right at you for a while. I heard Miss Edna laugh and looked back over. She closed her magazine and was steady talking to your foster Mama. "We got a Mama, Lily." "That Mama's in heaven," you said. I want a Mama right here, Lonnie." In the book, Lonnie also discusses how 6th grade is going through the big and small moments. He shares about his poetry called Imagine Peace, and I'll read it. "I think it's blue because that's my favorite color. I think it's soft like flannel sheets in the wintertime. I think peace is full, like a stomach after a real good dinner, beef stew and cornbread or shrimp fried rice and egg rolls. Even better than some barbecue chicken. I think peace is pretty, like my sister Lily. And I think it's nice, like my friend Clyde. I think if you imagine it like that Beatles guy used to sing about, then it can happen. Yeah, I think peace can happen." Lonnie Collins Motion, a.k.a. Locomotion. He then goes to change it in the end, which I'll let you read to find out how he experiences peace through the book and changes his poem. He also shares his struggles about school, like his 6th grade teacher who is different than his 5th grade teacher, by saying he's not a poet, even though we just heard that he wrote a poem. His long-term substitute, who's very nice. His struggles with math, and his friendship with Clyde, and the end of one with Lamont, who moved away. In his letters, Lonnie also describes life at home with Miss Edna and Rodney. He describes Miss Edna's delicious cooking, how Rodney offers to help him with math and science, and Miss Edna's stories of Rodney and Rodney's other brother, Jenkins, when they were growing up. Jenkins is currently at war, and then goes missing. When Jenkins goes missing, Lonnie begins to ponder other big ideas, including the idea of peace, and then war and its consequences. On page 39 of the book, it says, "I can't write a lot tonight. We got news that Jenkins is missing from the war. Something bad happened, and nobody knows where he's at. Miss Edna's been praying all day, and Rodney's been on the phone trying to get information." So you'll have to read to find out if he makes it out of the war and how he does. After Rodney encourages Lonnie to pray for peace, he then encourages Lily to pray for peace as well, and also shares that idea with his friends. I highly recommend that you read Peace Locomotion. Even though Lonnie, the main character, is African American in foster care, which might be different than your own life, he is very relatable to his experiences and sometimes the struggles of school, loss, family, and friendships. The 136 pages of the book will keep you engaged and wanting to find out and read more about Lonnie's life and might even inspire you to write your own letters. So be sure to check this out from the library today. It's at West Towson in the fiction under W, or in the public library today.